Welcome to this video on working capital as part of Stratfield Solutions Finance in 5 Minutes mini-series. I hope you like this video. It's really straightforward to calculate the working capital. And if you do like the video, please ensure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Stratfield Solutions so you never miss a video update from us here. With that, let's dive right into the formula and work on understanding how the working capital plays into the business activities of a particular firm. So what is working capital? Well, working capital is sometimes called net working capital, and the difference really is just in the wording. There is no different calculation between working capital and net working capital. Usually the net working capital is shown to reflect the actual mathematical operation, and we'll use that interchangeably here. It examines the difference between current assets and current liabilities. We'll give you a reminder of what those are here in a minute. But literally the formula is just current assets minus current liabilities. Again, we'll show that to you. But that's all we're doing here is just examining the difference between those two areas on the balance sheet, the current assets and the current liabilities. Well, companies generally want a positive working capital because the assets that would then exceed the liabilities in those current assets and current liabilities categories, they can use that to be put to work elsewhere. And also this helps them maintain their current level of operations. So there's funds on hand to pay bills. There's inventory available for sale, accounts receivable that it's expected to collect from customers. And so with that, that's generally what we want to have here. There is a limit on how high working capital should be, not mathematically, but just in theory. And it varies based on the business. If the working capital is excessively high, investors might wonder why the business is not using some of those current assets in a more long-term fashion. So why are they not investing in things like property, plant, and equipment? Because ultimately, current assets, while helpful for operations, don't necessarily grow the business, whereas things like property, plant, and equipment are used long-term to generate additional revenues. And as an investor, that's something that we would want to see the business doing, is putting money into those long-term items. So should be positive, but at the same time, you don't want to have it excessively high. So there is a balance, and that's going to vary based on what type of industry and what type of business you're in. Moving on, a reminder about current assets and current liabilities. Current assets are those assets that are or can be turned into cash within the next 12 months. Similarly, current liabilities are liabilities that must be paid in cash, again, within the next 12 months. Some examples of current assets: cash, accounts receivable, inventory, prepaid expenses, all really good examples there of current assets. Current liabilities: accounts payable, accrued expenses, other payables. The one that people tend to forget is the current portion of long-term debt. So that piece that you're going to pay within the next 12 months, that should be included. And then unearned revenue that has less than a year left before it can be recognized as earned. We also use this sometimes to look at the current ratio. And so I've put a link to the video for the current ratio, which is a very similar type of calculation, in the description box. So while you're working through current assets and current liabilities, it might be worth it to take a look at that as well. And again, that'll be in the description box below the video. Moving on, the formula, like I said, this is just really straightforward. Working capital is equal to current assets minus current liabilities. The only point I'd give you here is make sure you're using the current assets and the current liabilities rather than the total. That's it. That's the formula right there. Let's do a quick practice problem to make sure you understand. So here the image below shows the current assets and current liabilities of XYZ Corporation. Calculate the working capital. So here is the balance sheet. You can see where we have our current assets and current liabilities. And if you want to do the math really quick, you can pause the video before I go ahead and show you the mathematical calculation here. So go ahead and do that if you want. So hopefully you were able to come up with this answer. We take the current assets minus the current liabilities. This gives us a positive working capital of $18,700. And that's it. That's the working capital formula and how to calculate it and what it's used for, all in 5 minutes. If If you like this video, ensure to subscribe to us at Stratfield Solutions. And if you want to check out our full course offerings, you can visit us at stratfieldsolutions.com. And we hope to see you in a future lecture video or course soon. Take care.